Hey, everybody. Welcome
Hey,
to
man.
Week's End.
Oh, hey, what's happening? Why do I look like I'm in like yellow world? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Hold on. I'm just texting my buddy Dave Robichaud, letting him know their show is starting.
Oh, nice.
Starting it now, Roby.
That's how we do it. We do it old school. We do one-to-one texting to let everyone know the live stream is on.
We do.
I tell you, man. Well, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
It has been a minute. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What is going on?
It has been a minute because I was over in España in Barcelona doing Mobile World Congress, which was quite exciting, by the way.
Yeah? Wow. So in España.
And you were back here living the dream, I assume?
Yeah, living the dream every day. Crying myself to sleep every night.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Eating substandard tortillas and cheap wine.
Excellent.
So did you enjoy yourself over there?
I did. It was awesome. It was the first trip I've taken in a couple of years. I felt totally safe traveling. The airport experience was fine. Flying was fine. I mean, I was masked up the whole time because I'm not a fucking idiot. And it was great. I mean, yeah. Oh, well, wait a minute. If you're gonna,
what is this?
If you're gonna show my little friend, hold on. I got to bring the props, right? I got to wear my actual screen used prop here. Let me put on my spot operator vest. Oh, it feels good to just have it on again. Now I'm official.
You watched it. You watched it though, right? You got it.
I did not watch it. I want the magic to be in there.
Relive the magic. No, look, I was watching from afar, as many of us were. So much excitement around Spot, right?
There was a lot of excitement around Spot, and there was just a lot of excitement in general. People were really excited to be out there. There were 50, 60,000 people at this event. And it was great. They wanted to get their hands on the tech. They wanted to talk tech. My lighting is horrible. This is so embarrassing. I don't know what's going on. It's probably my vest.
We're in the lounge. You're in the mood.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just I'm being too backlit. But yeah, it was just great to be out there, and people were really excited. It was a ton of fun. Oh, there we go. That's a little better.
That might help. Yeah, there you go. Well, cool, man. I was really amazed by like all the Spot selfies and all the video clips and everything.
So many selfies. I told people I wanted $25 per selfie, and nobody paid me. It was a rip-off, but it was a lot of fun, and I miss my little yellow friend, and I look forward to seeing Spot at Boston Dynamics again in the upcoming weeks and months, maybe at some point permanently. And it was just a really great, really, really great week. And there was only one complaint that I would make.
Yeah.
It's that you weren't there.
Oh, wow. You know what? That means a lot.
I missed you, buddy.
But you know what? I made a new friend. I made a friend of my own when I was here. I know some people befriend a volleyball and they're left all alone on a desert island with no one to talk to. I befriended a replica Batman, the Batman cowl, which it comes with a surprise door, and those are the remnants of my movie popcorn that I devoured. When I went to go see the new film.
I thought you were going to say IMAX. It held the remnants of your broken and shattered life, but that's better.
That's
popcorn is better.
That's what I call popcorn. Yes. So we're going to get into this. I think we're going to talk about a couple other news items first, but amazing movie. We're gonna get into it in a minute, folks. First though, I think we have a couple other newsworthy items. Let me switch my screens around here and see what's happening. All right. So, did you see this story? I don't know if you saw this, but my jaw sort of dropped a little bit when I saw this one. So the Endurance,
jaw dropping.
I mean, I don't know if most people probably don't know much of the story around this unless you're really thinking back a number of years. But there's a ship lost under ice for how long? Do you remember? A long time.
When I don't remember when it sank.
107 years. It sank, and so the Antarctic explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton, his wooden ship, the Endurance, was found. They apparently had a project. They've been looking for it for years. and now it's found. And they said that it is remarkably preserved. I presume because it's in this under these frigid seas and ice, right?
Yes, and just so
Amazing,
you know, it's actually
amazing.
Shackleton.
Shackleton. Okay,
Yes, it's actually
didn't
Ernst
know that. I
Shackleton.
did not know that. All right.
I just think you need to know the
The
difference
more you
because
know. Our show is
the more you know.
all
But
about education.
we're very smart here, people. Very smart. We do a lot of calculus, if that's even a thing. So, the thing that I loved about all of the endurance footage is the fact that they were saying the water is so cold that there's no microbes to break everything down on the bottom and all that
Yeah.
business. Like, you know, and so the clarity of it is extraordinary. And what's another thing I learned is that there is footage of the endurance, and I can share it as well. Um, Minutes before it went down, you can actually see it being crushed by the ice. So seeing it in its last few minutes and then seeing it on the bottom, what was remarkable is there's not a big difference. It's
Right.
so well preserved on the
Well, they
bottom
were
of the
saying
ocean.
it was upright and it was
Yeah.
like not even all the way in the seabed, completely intact. This is something that I noted. I don't know if you saw this, but the marine archaeologist, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but his name Minson Bound. This is the guy that was
What?
on the Discovery expedition,
Amazing.
and he's this is fulfilling his dream of what has become a 50-year career in
Wow.
doing this work. So the ship has been down there 107 years. It was under 10,000 feet of water.
Wow.
Incredible,
That's a
incredible.
lot of water.
That's a lot of water, folks.
Anyway, cool
All
stuff.
right,
I'm very excited that they found it.
let's
It
talk
was
about the Star
very neat.
Wars as we often do.
Oh.
I don't
Well,
know
we
if you
are going
saw
to
the
talk.
spoiler,
We're going to
right?
talk. We're going to deep dive into the Batman later. Are we just getting some of
Yes,
the
we're
stuff out
deep
of the way?
diving into the Batman later. I wanted to
Okay.
get some
I
other
want to be
stuff out of
clear
the
on that
way,
for the
and I want to
viewers.
spend the whole freaking show on the Batman. I just want to get all this other stuff out of the way because I'm, yeah, blown away by that. But Kenobi, wow, I'm actually super excited about this. I don't know about you.
I'm really excited by this. When I shared it, my tweet I think was just, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," because it's great to actually see this. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. The Grand Inquisitor, Uncle Owen, Kenobi himself, a little
Yeah,
Luke, all of that. But somebody made a really good point on Twitter when they said that they really got their sort of Lawrence of Arabia groove on for this film, and I'm all for that. So, the other thing that's interesting is people kind of complain like, "Oh, we see too much Tatooine." It's like, but that's the heart of the Star Wars universe.
yeah.
So maybe you should just shut up and get
Well,
what you get and don't get
maybe
upset.
the Skywalker saga at least, and maybe when we enter new chapters. But you know what this reminded me of when they started up with the score, the Williams score, and it harkened back to the Duel of the Fates. I mean,
Yes.
so it really is like returning back to the beginning of Kenobi being a Padawan under Qui-Gon Jinn, and like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt this. I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. When I heard that score, I was just like, yes, this is the Star Wars I've been waiting for.
Yes. So people keep sort of saying like, "Oh, this is going to be peak Star Wars," and maybe, but I'm really excited about it. I think it's really cool that Hayden Christensen and of course Ewan McGregor. I think it's great that they're back
Yep.
in these roles, and I'm just excited to see these new characters. It looks great, but then again, dude, like I love all of this stuff. Book of Boba,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mandalorian,
Yeah. But
like
the
all
thing
of
I
it.
like about this though is
Rogue
that
One, Solo, like
all
I'm
the
all for it.
all the side stories that were kind of told through either the Clone Wars or Rebels or even the video games um, are coming together in some of these elements, right? Because we've got the Inquisitors here, which
Yeah.
actually some of the fans are like complaining about them, but I'm like, come on, y'all. Um,
I don't want to hear any more from them. I don't want to hear
I
any
don't want to hear it
more
either. I don't want to hear it either. Because
from the
guess what? Like,
miserable
yeah,
boys who can't appreciate what it takes to actually do these things. Like, okay,
yeah.
like let's see you do it.
Yep. No, I'm excited. So that's all we got to say. We will have more news on this.
Kids
There's
these
some
days.
stunning. A lot of these photos were some photos that were put out from Entertainment Weekly this week, which are just jaw droppingly awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk
And people are having fun with
about.
the meme where he's like using the glasses. They're having fun with that.
Oh,
It's
you're
all over.
right.
It's
You're
all
right. I
over
love that.
the
You know
internets.
what else I love? I love the Marvels. Do you like the Marvels?
The what?
Marvels. You know the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Thing, man. Guess what? Daredevil is coming to Disney Plus. So
Oh,
I'm super,
yeah.
super, super, super excited about this because Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, he's the only blind superhero I know about.
I don't know any others.
And just like Batman, which we're going to talk about in a minute, has no powers other than he does develop sort of an extrasensory, ability based on only having 5 senses to rely on.
I do
But
kind of feel like every time on Week's End we say the word Batman, we should be forced to say Batman. Like I feel like every time you say it, you have to use. So if like let's just practice, like we're in casual conversation. All right, we're going to
Okay.
practice. So Ryan, I understand you really are excited about Daredevil coming to Disney Plus. You like this show? Is that true?
Oh yeah, Daredevil. I mean, he's got no superpowers, just like Batman.
Oh, so you also like Batman. So that's
That's
really
correct.
cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited to. It's nice that you like both Daredevil and Batman. That's really cool. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
it is
glad we
really cool.
practiced that. You know what? That's
Yes,
terrible. Let's
yes.
not do
We'll
that.
we'll keep it maybe not going. We'll take fan feedback on that. But yeah, I'm excited about this because it started out as a series on Netflix. Of course, the streaming
Yes.
wars ensued, and now it's going to move over with all the rest of the Marvel universe. But
It's more of a streaming police conflict, but
it
that's
is.
fine.
But here's the cool thing. It means that we know that Daredevil is coming into the what is it? The new Doctor Strange movie, right? So he's
Multiverse of Madness.
multiverse. I was trying to think of that word, and I was about to say metaverse and piss off some people.
Multiverse.
One other thing I want to talk about. I'm just doing we're doing the rapid fire first, folks.
Yeah, let's just get
We're
this
doing
out
the
of the way.
rapid
We're
fire,
going to deep
folks.
dive into the Batman.
Bioshock. I don't know if you played this video game. I love it. But made by Bethesda. It's coming to a film adaptation on Netflix. It's kind of a left field kind of. This game series ended a while ago, and much
Like a
beloved as it
long
is.
time ago.
I mean, it kind of I played it on what PlayStation 3, I think.
Yeah, I
So
think
I don't
so.
know.
It was
But
around
I'm nonetheless, I am
2009, I think,
I'm still
2008.
intrigued. I'm still intrigued. Um, Strange New Worlds. What the heck, man? What's
Yes.
happening
So
here?
this was a week for great trailers.
It
Not only did
was.
we get a great trailer for Kenobi, we also got a great trailer for Strange New Worlds. And
Yeah.
this looks really cool. I mean, you've got Captain Christopher Pike, who is just fantastic.
He is a
I
sexy
mean,
man.
look, he's not Batman, but I mean, he is fantastic. And so there's just a lot of really cool sort of Trek goodness in here.
Yeah, there is.
I love the sort of real world aspect of the
Oh my gosh, yes.
the wind farm, and there's Pike on horseback, and there's a shuttlecraft. So there's a lot of really good, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. I'm excited to see how that show goes. Dave Ellis, I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, you probably haven't heard of Strange New Worlds. I know you're not really a Trekkie, but if you get a chance, you should check
it
out.
Check it out. Yeah, and it's not a desert planet. I think we were
And
looking at a fan poster a couple of weeks, or maybe it was the official one, a
we
couple
were.
of weeks
Yep.
ago, and it looked like a desert planet.
Yep.
Then we
And
were
the
saying,
Enterprise just looks absolutely gorgeous.
every
And
dystopian future or past needs to be on a desert planet. It's a
yeah,
rule.
dude, I'm really excited about that
All
show.
right, dude. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for
The Batman?
Okay, first of all, I just want to pat myself on the back for creating a really cool logo
So
for this
proud of
week's
you.
show. And I can take zero credit because apparently some nerd wrote a
I knew it.
generator for this.
Of course.
And so you literally just go to this website and type in whatever characters you want. And so yes, I had a lot of fun with this, making a nice wallpaper for this.
I want to make
show,
one. This is like budget meeting.
Budget. Yes, you should. Totally should. That's excellent. But look, I went the popcorn head, which was a late birthday present from my friend Yancey Scott Strickland. I want to give him a shout out.
Nice one, buddy.
So cowl plus popcorn, $26.99. $26.99 at AMC.
Wow. That's like a gallon and a half of gas.
It is. You're right. So we went to the fan experience while you were in Spain. We were at the IMAX in Durham. Dude, IMAX, holy crap.
I bet.
Not only have we not been back to the movie much since, the before times, but going to IMAX, and we bought tickets kind of late a week before, and so we were like 4th row. I'm telling you, when they did the chase scene with the Penguin and the new Batmobile, which is totally badass, by the way, it's like we were sitting in I could feel it in my chest. It was unbelievable. It was amazing. But
yeah, I
overall,
mean,
what did you like about? I mean, you came home from Spain, and I think you drove straight to the theater, right?
yeah, I actually had them. I didn't even. I actually had them redirect my flight, and what they did was they just came in really low over the movie theater, and I actually just jumped out the door.
You rappelled out with a batarang or a
I
bat
I
a
I, I
repel
did.
the bat
If you're gonna say
repeller.
it, Ryan,
That's
you
what I
got to
mean.
say it right with a batarang.
Batman.
And I so yeah, I actually and then I just tumbled and rolled into the theater, and that's a true story. Don't Google that, folks. Just trust the science.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so when I got back, I fought off that jet lag, and I was like, I'm gonna see this goddamn movie now. I actually also saw it in a really cool place. So I had to go to my favorite town and yours, of course, Northampton, Massachusetts,
Of course.
my home and native land. I had to go there because it was my father's 81st birthday.
Oh
Yep,
wow.
my dad is super
Happy
old.
birthday. Wow.
Yeah, and he knew it was his birthday, which was also fun. So he's still got his wits about him.
Nice.
Although he was talking about nuclear war the whole time, which was really bizarre. But
Mm.
anyway, after that, we went to the Cinemark in Hadley, Massachusetts, at the mall where I used to go see movies when I was a kid. In fact,
Oh,
it is
that's cool.
that theater that I saw such films
You
as
lost your
RoboCop
virginity? Or oh
and
wait.
what? What?
Didn't you go to movie theaters and like make out when you're on dates or something? I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. So
Maybe.
that was my first date. That was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I remember. I remember it well. Anyway, so I went and actually got to see the Batman in a theater that I used to go to, and it's different, but it was just cool to be there. Interstate 91 is still there. I
Nice.
saw the room that used to contain the world's greatest arcade, the Dream Machine, where I used to play Outrun and Afterburner and Star Wars. Anyway, I digress, and Tron, but I digress. I I really liked this movie. I have heard that a second viewing helps. First of all,
Yes. I can verify that.
yeah. To me, it felt like we really got back to Batman being a detective,
Yes.
right? I thought Robert Pattinson Bruce Wayne was excellent. Very traumatized person. You know, everybody playing Batman is the trick is playing Bruce Wayne. So I thought
Yeah.
his Bruce Wayne was excellent. I felt the pain. I thought it was really cool how they showed him sort of paying attention to the other little boy that just lost
Oh
his
yeah.
parents. Thought that
Right in
was
the
interesting.
right in the feels.
Right in the feels. I thought Alfred was awesome. Oh, God, Andy Serkis's Alfred
Oh yeah.
Pennyworth was great.
Which was a
But he,
surprise, you know.
yeah. So it also felt very real. Like if somebody actually did this, this is what it would actually look like. He's just wearing like Doc Marten boots, and you could tell the cowl was just kind of like made from stuff he'd made, and the Batmobile didn't look like a crazy psycho car. It looked like a souped up, something you would almost see it like
Yeah.
if you went to the county fair or something, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So and by the way, the reveal of the Batmobile was my favorite part of the whole film. Was awesome. So I loved the dark kind of Crow meets Seven aspect of it. I really
Yep.
liked that. There
Yep.
were some things that I thought were a little silly, and like the fact that he solved every riddle like immediately, but he's a detective and he's brilliant. So, okay.
Yeah.
Then there was something, and I thought this was really interesting because somebody called this out on Twitter, and I actually talked to my son about it. Um, and I thought this changed my mind about it. Is at one point they talk about him having the Riddler having 500 followers on social media, like that's a lot, right?
Well,
And if you were gonna call people to action, you're gonna need 5,000 to get 50 to even show up,
well,
right?
I think that was implied. I think that was
But but
implied.
but
Yeah.
actually, what my son said was, "No, Dad, that wasn't like Twitter. That was the dark web, and it would be a different ball game on the dark web." Which led me to think that's a really interesting take, and he's right. And also, how the hell does my son know about the dark web? But I digress.
How many followers does your son have on the
But
dark
so
web?
there, it's more like if you have 500, 50
Yeah.
show up. My
Right.
camera's going a little slow for a second here, but
We
so
can
I
still hear
just
you.
I know. I really, really, really liked the movie. I thought it was well done. I want to see it again.
You
And
should.
it just was cool. Best
You know,
Batmobile ever. What did you think?
seeing it a second time. I went with my son who came home for spring break this week.
Yep.
We went one night with a group of his friends. Um, and yeah, so you pick up on things, you connect more dots, which I guess, is good. But you could the craftsmanship of putting
Yeah.
together certain sort of through threads, certain foreshadowing moments, just connecting those dots in the second viewing was really satisfying. It didn't
Yeah.
make it feel more cheap or anything like that. I agree with you. The feel of it was so real. Some of the complaints that I have problems with is like some of the people that are so like think they're into Batman. Like there's this cosplayer that was like asking questions about it on his, I don't know, on his Instagram or something. And, he said his problem was that, Robert Pattinson wasn't big enough. He wasn't buff
What?
enough. The suit wasn't like
That's
pro enough.
ludicrous.
And I'm like, okay, look, we've done Batfleck, we've done all that stuff. Like this is like a whole nother universe Batman. So to me, he was like, if he's a billionaire, he should have better gadgets. It's like, no.
No.
This is if he went down into the cellar and he's depressed and he just spent like, a year just pulling this stuff
Well, it's year
together
one. That's what it
and
is.
yeah, and
We're
hand
seeing an
making the
early
leather cowl,
Batman.
right? Like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Like he doesn't have all the stuff yet because
right.
he's still getting used to this whole thing. And so I totally agree with you. I mean, I felt that the realism of it, and I also felt the fact that he was violent and
Yeah.
really angry. And I love the fact that they kind of sort of showed how he really the put fear into the
Yes.
criminals. Like I love when the bat signal went up and it was like they kept thinking he was in the shadows and then finally he was.
Right.
And then
That
the
was
whole scene where he
amazing.
like
That was
goes
just
into the
amazing.
club and everything. I thought Zoe Kravitz was awesome.
Oh my
I thought
gosh.
she was
I
really,
you know
really
what? I'm
good.
gonna go on record, and I'm not saying that he's the best Batman. I will say she's the best Catwoman, for sure. We
Better
can
than
argue that, but
Michelle
I
Pfeiffer?
well, here's the thing. There's so much of this that
I
is
guess so.
directly
But
sort of
hers was
from
also real.
it was, but
Like Michelle Pfeiffer's is
I
like she has supernatural powers, right? She like survived that
agreed,
fall and was bitten
agreed.
by cats or whatever.
But that was all
Anne
made up for the
Hathaway's was okay.
that was all really made up for the cinema, that whole story and her
Yeah,
powers and all that.
yeah.
This was very much to me, the satisfying thing was this was maybe the first film other than maybe a little bit of the Batfleck stuff, with Dark Knight, the book. This was so much drawn from like Long Halloween and Hush from those
Yes.
books that the Catwoman just felt like it was directly from the page to the screen.
Yeah,
But
again,
then
I
she
really
gave
liked
it.
it.
Then Zoe gave it the flair that only she could, as
Yeah.
being Zoe Kravitz. Like so it was just amazing to see.
Yep.
And then
So
the criminal element, like the criminals from everybody from Falcone to
yes.
Penguin to Riddler,
I mean,
like they were
holy cow,
so
could you
fully formed.
believe Colin Farrell's transformation into the Penguin? That was
Amazing,
remarkable. And I
amazing.
love the chase sequence, which I know we saw it in the trailer. It was even better on the big screen.
It
Ha, I
was.
got you.
It
And then
was.
the Batmobile comes and he's
Plus,
oh my
tell me
God.
this: it felt like a real car chase. It didn't feel like a staged
It felt like a
thing.
real. First
Like
of all, instead
every
of
other,
saying
if
"tell
you
me
look
this," you
back,
should have just said "riddle me this." But
riddle me this.
it felt like a real car chase. So I guess that gets back to the whole heart of the whole thing. Felt real. Like the punches didn't feel pulled, the violence didn't feel over the top or
Yeah,
not. I mean, even when he helped that guy in the subway and the guy's like, please don't hurt me, and he still is intimidating, right? He
right.
wasn't like, oh, you're okay, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the car chase was the Batmobile. I mean, just the way they revealed the
Well,
Batmobile was
also
phenomenal.
going back to what you were saying about
And it's
him.
real, by the way. There's no CGI.
Well, that's what I mean. Like it wasn't. It just felt like I know the previous Batmobile during the Nolan trilogy got accolades for being a real car, but if you go back and watch those scenes, it still felt staged. If you compare it to this,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, but and I agree. I mean, I liked. By the way, my Roby is now watching. Hi, Roby. I liked the Nolan films. Well, I liked the first and the second. I thought the third one was one of the worst Batman films ever made.
Sure.
The one with Bane was just
Yep.
garbage film.
I'm with you. I felt.
But I mean, obviously, Heath
it.
Ledger's Joker was incredible. Now, I also want to talk about. So, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen The Batman, I'm going to reveal something here. So, The Batman. If you have not watched The Batman, please take a minute here. So if you saw, obviously we saw the Joker at the end, and I went and read about that. And first of all, do you know who's? I'm not gonna spoil this, but go and find out who's playing the Joker,
Yeah.
because you can't tell who it is. But what's really interesting is they're basing it on like the Elephant Man, or the guy, the character from the movie Mask,
Yeah.
with Cher. So in this one, um, it's not just the makeup. This is like a terribly disabled, disfigured individual who is completely insane.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting if there's another The Batman,
Mm-hmm.
what it will be and how they're going to show that. And so that was the other thing, is like they're taking these unusual approaches to the. I mean, like, who would have thought they'd use the Riddler?
Right.
And the Riddler was amazing. Obviously, the actor that was in There Will Be Blood, who was incredible in There Will Be Blood, and he was awesome as the Riddler. I mean,
Yep.
real psycho serial killer craziness.
Yep.
I loved it.
Well, and it almost, I mean, there was a moment in the film where when you see that transition and the sort of his master plan is revealed, Batman discovers it on the dark web, like you said. There's
Yeah.
this moment where you're like, oh crap. It's like so much like real life. Like,
Yes.
he's
So
like
that's interesting you say that, because
he's
another.
a bully kid who's like, screw it, I'm gonna burn the world down.
Yep. He's another angry white guy who can't get laid. So I thought it was really interesting that somebody else made a point on Twitter. They were like, maybe they shouldn't have made this movie, because this is going to put ideas into people's heads, and we don't have a Batman.
Well, a lot of
Now,
people said The Dark Knight Rises
yes,
triggered that, or The Dark Knight triggered that, and that's what led to the Aurora shooting at the premiere of Dark Knight Rises. Do you remember?
Yep.
I mean, that was such a moment in our nation where, like, so here's a little side story. I organized a meetup to go watch, like, I rented out a whole theater to go watch Dark Knight Rises and did a whole tweet up, and like we had badges and it was a whole thing. And we go to the movie, and then that happened in Aurora, Illinois, and it was like, oh crap, right? It was like that was like a moment where like people started rethinking things in the most horrible way. So it just really
we get a lot of those moments.
It was kind of like a oh shit moment that you were like, wow, that was like that kind of ballsy in a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I really love the film, folks. If you're watching, please, drop a tweet at us. Let us know what you thought of it. We would love to know. If I had to give it like a, something out of 10 rating, I would probably give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 out of 10, because there were just some things in it that I thought needed to be tightened up a little bit. But I loved the cinematography. I thought it was beautifully shot. I loved the practical effects. I loved the realism of the Batman. I didn't say it right. The Batman. I loved Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. I want to drive the Batmobile. Like I want that car. And
I think we could build it. This is the first
I
Batmobile where I was like, I don't feel like I need to be a billionaire to build that Batmobile. I just need the know-how.
Yeah. And the other, you also made an interesting point. The person was talking about that cosplay moron who was complaining that he didn't have enough gadgets. I actually liked that he wasn't constantly flinging crazy gadgets or all kinds of crazy stuff. He had the flight suit, which was not really crazy. In fact, I want to compare that. This is the last thing I'll say, but I want to compare that. When I was watching the Olympics, I learned that Olympic skiers go down the hill with airbags on, and I didn't know that. You can't see it in their suits, and they inflate in like a fraction of a second and actually protect them when they get into really, really, really bad accidents or really bad falls. And it literally like inflates it's all around them. And so somebody at the theater laughed when he comes down in the flight suit, and I think he like hit a bridge or something, and then he kind of rolls and he kind of gets up and he's injured, but he goes away. And it was interesting because we talked about it later and realized like maybe he just has one of those Olympic suits, right? Like it just inflates and he's sort of okay. So again, the realism of it is what was, and I'm a big fan of Seven. I'm a big fan of The Crow, and I felt like these movies kind of melded together, and I hope they do more. I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. And you know what? He was doubting himself if he was going to make a difference or if he was doing the right thing.
Or if he was even doing the right
And but yet he's so dedicated that he gives up on his love interest. There's a lot
thing. And
going on.
Jeffrey Wright. Oh, dude, we can't get off
Oh,
this.
you're right. You're right.
Without giving props to Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
That
He
whole,
was so
like the whole buddy cop aspect.
yes.
It's just amazing. It was really good, and that part
Yeah.
of it was unexpected to me. Like that.
Yes,
How much
I
they
loved.
leaned into it a lot.
They did, and that's where you get into that notion of Batman is not a superhero. Batman is a super detective, right? Maybe not even super, but Batman is a detective. And so I love the fact that he's bringing him into the crime scenes, and the cops are like, what is this guy doing here? This is crazy. Get him out. This is nuts. You're going to get us in trouble. But yet he figured out where the hammer had fallen. He figured this out, and he was a really good detective. And man, that was where I really liked that.
Yeah. And he also got things wrong, and that's what gave it some twists, which is cool. All right, speaking of detectives, they put out a ARG. If you don't know what an ARG is, it means alternate reality game. And there are a lot of like complex marketing campaigns that have gone on, for the last, I don't know, like a long time. For different things, right? From everything from when the Xbox first came out to one of the Nine Inch Nails albums came out. And so they did this for the Batman. And now they've not only, I guess you said they released all of the, I guess, evidence.
You can read. Yeah. So there's a point where you click through and it says click here for a reward.
Yep.
Click it and you actually get a zip file, which scared the hell out of me at first. I was like, oh great, this is all malware, but it's not. and it contains it. By the way, I don't know if you can hear it, but my dog is here and he's snoring really, really loud.
We cannot hear it on the mic, but it's
really fun. It's like Wah! Behind me. So you click that and you get this zip file, and in there is all the evidence, including a PDF that has the Riddler's full journal, and it's really cool to read it.
That is cool. So, and it's based on the website that they, of course, talk about in the film, which is one of the clues they have to unlock.
Yes.
The other thing is, I read as soon as you showed me this, I was like cursing that I had not discovered it earlier because I love getting into these things. Apparently, it's not over yet. This is like phase 1, so there's going to be more. Apparently, they dropped. They dropped a new
very
clue
cool. Okay.
that basically unlocked a new cipher, which the ciphers are the key to Batman and Gordon unlocking things in the film. There's more to come, apparently.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm excited about that.
All right. I've got a couple more things. So you said you wanted to pose a question.
I did.
Which is pick your Batmobile, folks.
I did. And it's interesting. I've actually found several other people on Twitter are not only asking the same question, but using very similar photos. So there's a big debate, like this version of the Batmobile, this, whatever it is, Dodge Challenger, whatever, really got people thinking about the Batmobile, which is funny. I mean, and also very age appropriate for men. But I really thought about it. I mean, I always thought 66 was super cool. I used to watch the film all the time at Camp Dakota when I was growing up. I loved the 89 Batmobile mainly because it had those shields and was just I had never seen anything like that. Also because it was built on a Chevy Impala platform, which my parents had at the time, which I thought was really cool. So I sort of felt like I was driving a Batmobile, even though it just looked like a station wagon. And the Tumbler was amazing, but felt very military and not like it never really felt like Batman to me, but I love it.
Yeah.
But I just love the 22 Batmobile. It's just like that scene where you see it, the flames are coming out and it's just sitting there.
You're right. You had like a visceral reaction to it. It was really cool. This was really hard for me, man. I had to like roll the dice because I know. I would pick all 3 of the sort of modern Batmobiles. I don't think I care so much about 66. I do appreciate it for its style. The style factor, of course, and in the car that it's based on is arguably like an American classic. But this is a really hard choice. So tell us what you think. Drop us a tweet. Drop us a tweet.
I would really love to know. You can find this tweet. Yeah, you can find that on my feed. I don't know where. You can just search for it. But we would love to know what Batmobile
one more
you
debate.
pick.
So we found this film list, which of course every time there's a major cultural event, like a movie, like a Batman movie, of course they're going to put out a new list that ranks all of the Batman films best to worst. Now, I had a lot of problems with this list. We're not
I
going
had
to
a
talk
lot
about
of
it this
problems.
week.
No.
I think we should bring on some guests to talk more Batman stuff on a future show.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a great idea.
We can sort of make our own list. But this list is like, it's got some obvious picks, which I thought were bad, and then it's got some really questionable picks, which are even worse. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with that list, especially where they put the third Nolan film. I mean, it was like something stupid, like number 7 or something. It should have been number 14. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
that list just pissed me off.
How are you feeling about your time here? Let's do this.
All right, let's do this. This is my rant of the week. So, folks, if there's one thing that I've been thinking a lot about these Marvel movies, especially the way in which they show Thor. As a lot of you know, I celebrate Thor's Day every week. I share a different picture on Thor's Day. I'm a bit of a Scandinavian culture fan, and if I was going to practice a religion, that probably would be it. Unless there was a religion based around Flynn from Tron. But here's one of the things that I thought. I love the film Thor Ragnarok. Great movie, lots of fun, but I think that they really cheapen the role of Heimdall. And if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, please forgive me. But one of the tools that Heimdall has in the sagas is this thing called the Horn. And it's this incredibly powerful thing. It's actually mentioned in the Prose Edda. And so it does a few things. Its blast can be, it's like a trumpet, and its blast can be heard in all the worlds. It can create this ability for the gods to awaken and assemble, and also it allows him to drink from this well that keeps him wise, and I think also immortal. And I thought that, like, what a cool thing that would have been in the fight against Hela, especially when they were on the Rainbow Bridge and Hulk's off fighting the giant wolf, and, Thor's raining lightning from the sky to Led Zeppelin, which is one of the coolest fucking things ever put on film. But anyway, I thought it would have been awesome when Heimdall was protecting the people, if he could have used Horn. So, look, change my mind. Tell me if you think that Thor Ragnarok was perfect as it is. I'm going to debate that with you. I think Heimdall didn't get a chance to be really incredibly amazing. And I think one of the ways in which they could have done that was maybe done a little more homework and bring Horn in to call forth the gods in the fight against Hela. So thank you. My name is John Graeme Noseworthy, Esquire III. I am a fan of Scandinavian culture. I'd also want to give a plug to the Scandinavian Cultural Center in Newton, Massachusetts. Wonderful place. And that's what I got for you. That's my rant of the week.
Nice. You did it. Okay. That gives us a lot to chew on. Folks, we have one last question, then we're going to get out of here and go drink heavily at the bar. Tell us.
Drinking, maybe.
What screen used movie prop from any film or television series, or even if it's streamed on the interwebs, would you want to take home with you and keep and cherish and put in your collection, as it were, or maybe take it into battle? I don't know. What would it be? No limits. No limits.
And I really want people to really think no limits here, right? Like, I know some people are like, oh, I'd want, Luke's lightsaber, or I'd want the, oh my God, the ruby slippers from Wizard of Oz, right? Or something like that. I want to encourage you to think a little beyond that, right? Okay. So somebody mentioned like the Millennium Falcon, right? Which, obviously I don't mean the ship, but like the cockpit or the set that they used.
Right.
So we've got a lot of really great suggestions coming out. You can see this is on my Twitter feed. You can find this question. We want to know what prop. Now, I'm not the first one to ask this. Lots of people ask this. I don't know why Ryan's got 2 Batman dolls making out on the other side of the screen. It's pretty weird, but what prop would you want? I would really like to know. Do you have an answer, Ryan?
No. You're not putting me.
I do.
You're not putting me on the spot. I got to think about this. I need at least a week.
I need to really think about this.
I need at least a week to think through this one. So we'll see next week. We'll find out.
Yeah. And the reason I thought of this is because the other day I was reading some stuff about Tron because what
do.
else would I do with my life? And I found out that they recently sold at an auction the whole arm assembly that was used in the like High scene, and that there's actually a name for it. They named it in the movie. It's like a special weapon, and so you can actually see the whole arm assembly, the whole High glove coming around, and they sold that. And I just thought, like, man, there's so many awesome props out there.
There's probably only
like,
one of those or two of those laying around now, you know?
Yeah. One prop that I would love, and I know it's coming up for sale soon, is Captain America's World War II shield from Captain America. This one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You're giving me more to think about when you talk about sets.
That.
When you said the Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Yeah, like imagine if you had that cockpit.
No limits. Because I don't know about you, but when you were a kid, like when we were kids back in the 80s, we used to like take the giant refrigerator box and like make a set out of it with markers and whatever.
Yeah, of course.
I built a functional in my head Viper Mark II cockpit with all the assembly and the instructions and
I love it.
Dashboard and everything, because I wanted to be a Colonial Viper pilot, sir. But
Ryan, okay. I want you to know.
I'm gonna think about it.
You'll always be a Colonial Viper pilot in my book.
All right, awesome. Well, I just want to close it out by saying thank you for coming back safe and sound a week's end.
Thank you, Ryan.
It's been a lot of fun. This was Selena and.
I got to be honest with you. It just looked a little. I was getting a little skeeved out by that, but it's all good. It's fine. You can do that when the camera's cut, and
they're gonna go. They're gonna go ride their motorcycles off into the distance.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do the same. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been your Week's In show number 74. We'll be back next Friday with another pulse-pounding, exciting, nerd-tastic episode with yours truly, Ryan Boyles, and your co-host, Mr. Graeme Noseworthy. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Play us out with like your best Spanish. What do you got? What did you learn on your trip? Play us out with that. Let's go.
What is happening?
I don't know.